And Garth, before I begin, the people in this section right here, look to your left, look to your right, both of those people will be graduating. Members of the class of 2009, those left standing from the scale incoming class of 2007, you are seconds away from having a doctorate of jurisprudence. So no one will call you doctor, and in fact the best you can do in terms of title is call yourself Esquire, which for me always conjures up images of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, or perhaps Monty Python in the Quest for the Holy Grail. But nonetheless, it will be a doctorate, and in attaining that doctorate, you will become custodians of a grand and sacred legal tradition, a tradition of aspiring to and preserving justice. And as you set out on your journey to uphold that tradition, it asks only one thing of you: that you not screw it up, that you not turn into a living, breathing, walking, talking lawyer joke. Crazy as it may seem, because of what this degree has given you, that's going to be a lot harder than you think. Let me be more specific. During my tenure here at Southwestern, I had the pleasure of studying under an individual who I have to say is one of my favorite people ever to hold the California bar card. He wouldn't let people call him a lawyer. He insisted that he didn't like most lawyers. He was a prosecutor. And he was known to wear a t-shirt around campus that had a quote that I think most lawyers are familiar with. It's from Shakespeare's Henry VI. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. Someone's applauding for that? This is a law school graduation? But despite his red t-shirt and his colorful critique of some of his colleagues, he still woke up every morning, went down to the courthouse, and prosecuted. One gun crime, one gang crime at a time. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's the original lawyer joke of the English language, and some would say it's still the best. It's all lawyer jokes, crooked lawyer jokes, bureaucrat lawyer jokes, idiot lawyer jokes, all rolled into 9 simple words. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. I went to go look up the exact passage from the play that it's from, and I found something interesting. If you type the words kill all into a Google search, it does that little autocomplete thing where it tells you what it thinks you're going to type based on what other people have typed. Lawyers produces the second highest number of results. In a world full of hunting enthusiasts, international terrorism, we're number 2. For those of you who are wondering, number 1, only slightly above lawyers, zombies. So why do people hate us so much? We zombies? Really? Zombies? Where did that joke come from? Why is it funny? Well, it's funny for the same reason all jokes are funny. It's funny for the same reason the Three Stooges are funny. That YouTube video, the guy getting whacked between the legs with a wiffle-ball bat by his kid, is absolutely hilarious. It's funny because laughter is a way that we deal with pain, or in some cases, painful truths. That joke is funny because there's a sense, and there has been, for at least 500 years that we know of, that lawyers have a power to manipulate reason, and that we don't always use it for good. We often use it short-sightedly, or for our own selfish gain. Many of you graduates know exactly what I'm talking about because you felt yourself doing it. Suddenly you are winning arguments that you have absolutely no business winning. If you don't think you've done it, ask a parent, ask your spouse, ask your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You figured out how to twist the rules. I'll give you an example. Honey, the milk's gone bad. I told you to pick up some more, why didn't you? Layperson says, I'm sorry. Slightly craftier layperson, maybe been married longer, says, I don't know, there's something wrong with the cell phone, the voicemail, I gotta go to Verizon. Lawyer says, I think the real question is, why haven't they come up with milk that lasts for longer than 2 weeks? In your milk that can sit on a shelf warm for months with preservatives and that kind of stuff. And suddenly your girlfriend is on your side. She is cursing the FDA and agribusiness to the fact that you now have to eat your Kraft macaroni and cheese with a disgusting mix of butter and water. Not that that's a personal story, of course. Or an ex-girlfriend, actually. Another tip, you get to a fender bender. Well, the guy gets out of the car. Says, how come you weren't looking where you were going? Layperson says, how come you weren't looking where you were going? Lawyer says, I think the real question is, why are you lying? How can you have been looking where you were going and still been able to pay attention to where I was or was not looking? We cost you $120,000 to be able to do that, by the way. Like it or not, legal education gives us the power to manipulate reason. And that skill is good from the kitchen table to the used car lot, all the way up to corporate boardrooms, legislatures, and the Supreme Court. As to how we use it in each of those situations, that's up to us. Each of us can be one of the good guys, or the guy behind the lawyer chair. But make no mistake, it's a serious power. Let me give you some perspective. 70% of our presidents, vice presidents, and cabinet members in the last century have been lawyers. 6 in 10 current senators have law degrees. Lawyers, more than anyone else, exercise an overwhelming degree of power and influence in our society and in our world. They control the single most destructive military force in the history of mankind. As administrators of land management and infrastructure, with technology the way it is today, we can quite literally move mountains. The lawyer's ability in this modern age, this information age, to process information is the most single, raw, limitless form of power that there is. It is the power to lift people up, and it is the power to tear people down. It is the power to build and a power to destroy. It's the power to make the world a better place. It's also, if you want, the power to make yourself ridiculously filthy, stinking rich. The power is rooted in a new way of looking at the world. And we're now entrusted with this timeless and priceless gift. And it is an awesome, awesome gift. But it doesn't come with instructions. And that's where we as lawyers have a way of just blowing it big time. We question everything. We analyze everything except ourselves. We don't eye-wrap what we see in the mirror. So, as each of us moves forward in our careers, I think the thing we need to be doing is continually asking ourselves why. Issue spot ourselves. Don't just blindly go for the firm job, the bar, paying off the loans, getting the Benz. If you want to be focused, taking risks, that's okay. Ask anyone who has benefited from the Gates Foundation or the Carnegie Endowment. People who set out to do nothing more than just get completely loaded have done some amazing things. But if that's what you're going to do, recognize that as the issue. Lay out some rules for yourself before you get going. Analyze it every step of the way. And move forward based on sensible conclusions. Do that, and we won't screw it up. Maybe if enough of us do that, after 500 and something years, this generation can turn the profession's reputation around a little bit. One last thought. That quote, "Kill all the lawyers," from Henry VI. While totally intended as a cheap shot at lawyers and as a joke, it becomes interesting when you look at it in context. It's uttered by a thug to his henchmen, midway through a violent and bloody overthrow of the government. He's attempting to install himself as king, rule absolutely. And he knows before he can complete his takeover, before he can seize power, he has to eliminate all immediate threats to that power. Crush all voices for reason, and destroy anyone with the ability to empower others to stand against him. So what does he do? He looks at his hatchet men, and he says, here's what we got to do. The first thing we got to do, we got to kill all the lawyers. We have the power to inspire, to build, to create, to empower others. We also have the power to be the kind of people that our fellow human beings want to shoot more than anyone else on the planet. With the exception, of course, of zombies. So be one of the good ones. Be one of the great ones. Think back right now to whatever it was that made you decide to put yourself through this in the first place, and go do that. Congratulations.